Hello friends, a very warm welcome to this lecture, which is the first lecture of 2022, and I would like to wish all of you a very happy new year. Now in this lecture we are going to design the Uber Eats clone application home screen. I know you must be very eager to design that up, and here we go. Today we are going to design that up. But before we start, I would like to tell you that the Ionic course which I built, which is available on Udemy, well, there is a limited offer which is going on right now where you can get the course at a very minimal price. So just check everything which is available in the description, and I must tell you the course is upgraded to Ionic 6 and Firebase 9, which is the latest SDK version of Firebase. So with that being said, let's get started with our today's video. So now as you can see out here, we already have the tabs page and our authentication was already done, as you already know that, right? So let me get on my specs now. And what we are going to design out here, well, we will be having a lot of things out here. At first, let's start with the header part, which is very important. So let's get with that. But before that, I would like to tell you one more thing. When I saw in my Uber Eats Firebase database, well, I found something. Let me tell you. Now, as you can see out here, we created the data or the user, but as you can see, the password is also saved. We don't want that to happen, right? So what I'll do in my code, well, while we are signing up, let's go to Auth service, which is out here. So Control P I have pressed out here, then you can get that thing up. Alright, now I'm out here. Now in this, what we are going to do after the registration is done, we are going to store the data, but I'm going to change this a bit out here. What I'll do, I'll create a constant called data, which will be equals to an object, and in this object I'm going to pass the email ID, which will be taken from form value. Let me copy it from here, form value.email, and I'll paste it out here. After that, I'll have the username also. So username, again form value.username. Alright, let's check that out whether it was username or not. Yes, it was username. So we will have that out here. Fine. Now once that is done, I'm simply going to pass out here the data. That's it. Alright, now this thing is done. So our app is up and running out here, but what I'll do, I'll open it up in incognito mode. Alright, once that is opened up, I'll simply inspect it up and I will just change this to dockside different one so that I can have both of it in a different manner. Let me minimize this up. Alright, now you can see both of them are aligned properly, which is good. Now let me try to log in. So out here, NYKZ. Fine, the login is properly working. Now the last thing that I'll do is, well, we have already changed the data, so we know that it's gonna work because that is not a very big deal. So I'll simply remove the password from here. That is fine. In fact, from here also, I'm simply going to remove it. Alright, so it is working now. So once that is done, now what do we need to do? At first, we'll work with the tabs one. So in the tabs page, what I'll do, we have already done a lot many times. So let me do it little quickly, that part. So now let me go to my tabs page, where it is. In the pages, we have the tabs page, and out here in the HTML, I'll simply remove all of this and have this code. Now in here, well, I have already done it many times, so I'll simply explain you. We will have some select tab property, which if it is home, then we will have the home, otherwise the home outline. That is our first tab. Then we have a search tab. If it is search, then we will, means if you select the search one, then the icon will be search. Otherwise, by default, it's gonna be search outline. Similarly for card, we have the card one, otherwise the card outline for orders, and similarly for accounts. So all of this is done out here. You can have that same thing. Fine. Now out here in the Ion tabs, well, I am tracking if the tab is changed, then I am tracking that event. Alright, and I have given an identifier called /tabs out here. Alright, now let's work with the TypeScript file. Now in the TypeScript, what I have done, well, at first for that identifier /tabs, well, slash is actually, it denotes the identifier, not the slash, it's hash. So out here we are accessing that particular tabs so that we can work with that to check whether which tab is active right now. Alright. So for checking that up, I have created a function out here called getCurrentTab, well, which is the same one which we have declared out here, alright, or passed out here. So within this, I'm having a property called selectedTab, which is of type any out here, and which is equals to this.tabs.getSelectedTabs. This is the tab which I have passed. And then I'm just simply consoling it up. So now if I just click out here, say like this tabs, as of now nothing is working because the navigation is not done and we don't have that pages also. So we need to create all those pages. So for that I'll open another PowerShell which is already open in my case. You can open that up. And now I'm going to create the pages Ionic G page. Within the pages folder, within the tabs folder, I will have a home folder at first. Fine, a home page actually. So I'll hit enter now. So this is created. Now I'm going to create another page for our search one. Then comes the cart one. After that the orders one. So orders, hit enter. Now let's have the last one which is the account one. So account, hit enter. Now let's quickly work with the tabs routing module to show them up and work with that. So in my tabs routing module, we already have all of this. Now simply what I'll do is, after this component tabs, I'll have its children in this particular manner where I have passed the path, default path. When no path is passed out here, then we will simply redirect to /tabs/home. Alright, that will be our default path. And now what I'll do, I'm simply going to move all of it. Let me cut all of it. And after this empty path, I'm going to paste all of it out here. And now let's align it properly. There we go. Once that is done, we are good to go. Let's see what do we have out here. As of now, we don't see anything out here, but it's going to come up. Let me type again, localhost : 8100, hit enter. Let's see what happens. Now you see this is coming up and this one is highlighted because this is our default path, right? That is why it is highlighted. You can even change the color to the black one because in Uber Eats, the default color is blackish. So you can have that black color throughout the application instead of the red one. Alright. For the time being, I'll keep it as it is and let's start working with the designing of the home page. So I'll just go to the home page now. HTML. Now what am I going to do? Well, I don't have anything out here, or we do have. Now in the home page, what am I going to do? At first we will have no border out here. So I'll pass a class out here to my ion header, ion no border. Fine. Once that is done, I'm going to work with the ion title because we will have some different thing out here. So in the ion title, at first we need it to be on the leftmost side always, even in the iOS mode also. So what I'll do, I'll pass the mode to be MD. Alright. And I'll also have a class ion no padding because I don't want any extra padding to be there, which is by default. Now instead of home, we will have some other things. So what I'll do, within the ion title, I'll pass an ion label, and within the ion label, at first I'll pass an ion text where I'm going to type NOW now, which will show your latest location, and the color of this text will be medium. So I'll just pass out here color to be medium. Now once that is done, I will have an ion icon out here. The name will be arrow forward outline, and here also I'll pass the color to be medium. Now we'll have another ion text to hold our location. So ion text. Now within this I'll pass a strong tag to have the bold one, and within this strong tag I'm going to pass LOC, which will be my location. Alright. Now let me declare it in my TypeScript, otherwise it's going to keep giving us the error, right? So in my TypeScript, what I'll do, I'll have out here LOC, which will be equals to a string locating by default. If you don't have a location, it will show locating, alright, in this particular manner. Now as you can see out here, the design is showing up, but this is not looking that good. So we need to design a bit more. So for that, I'll go to the SCSS, and out here we are going to work with our ion header. So within the ion header, I'll work with the ion toolbar, where I just want to remove this initial padding. I just want to have some padding out there because we have removed all the paddings, right? So dash padding start, and out there I'm going to pass 10 pixels. So this is the property of ion toolbar, CSS property. You can check that out there. Now you can see we have some initial padding which is looking nice right? Now what I'll do, within the Ion toolbar, I'll work with the Ion title, where I'll pass the font size to be 1.1 rem. Then I'll also pass some letter spacing that looks very nice if we give some letter spacing out there. 0.5 pixel will be good. Then I will also pass a max width so that it does not cross or take the whole width, right? So that is why max width is very important, where I'm going to pass 40 VH will be good approximately. And I will also pass some shadow to that. So text shadow, I'll pass 1 pixel, 1 pixel, 1 pixel, and the color will be a variable dash ion color, medium color. I'm going to simply pass it out here. That's it. Let's check it out. Alright, this is looking nice, isn't it? Now what I'll do, I'll also work with the Ion icon, right? Because the icon is not present at the center. Now in order to work with the Ion icon, what I'll do, I have it within my Ion label, and these things are also impacted to our Ion text which is available within our Ion label, but I have passed it at the very top because I want all of them to take the same thing, right? That is why. In fact, you can pass it within the Ion label also. So within the Ion label, I'll work with the Ion icon, where at first I want some padding, right? So padding, I don't want at the top and bottom, so 0. On the left and right side, definitely I want some padding, so I've given 5 pixels. And after that is done, I will transform it to translate in Y direction by 20%. Let's check it out. Now you can see the design is looking very nice, as we expected, right? Everything is aligned properly. Now the next thing that we are going to work with is the banner one out here, alright? So let me go to the HTML again, and out here in the Ion content, at first the whole Ion content will have a color of light. The background, I want it to be light color. Well, if you can't see it on the screen, then don't worry, it is of light color, because the color brightness sometimes varies, so you might not be able to see that properly. But don't worry about it. Now out here, I will do everything within a row. So Ion row. Now within that row, I'm going to use Swiperjs out here. So I've already shown you how to work with Swiperjs. Let's do it one more time. So I'll simply install it, and I know how to install that up using the command npm I swiper. Alright, now you can see this is installed in our system. Now what I'm going to do, if you want to learn more about Swiperjs, let's go to our browser. Now out here you can see that this is the code that we already run, right? And this is the import that we need to pass wherever we are using that up. Such as I'm using it in the home page right now. I will be using it actually. So I'll pass this import into the home page. Let me open it up, and out here in the home module, after this I'm simply going to pass it. And once that is done, even I need to pass this import. So I'll simply copy it up and paste it out here. Fine. No errors as of now. We will see the output once we do everything. Alright. Now the next thing, well, we need to use the bundle for the styling of Swiperjs. So for that, there are two ways. Either we can have the swiper/css/bundle import into our global.scss. Otherwise, we can use simply the ones that we want to use, similar to the one which is shown in this particular case. Say like we need the pagination only, we can have that, then navigation, and simply all the modules that we are using will pass it one by one. Alright, but I want to have all the bundle to avoid any kind of error if we get, or if I don't import something, then it's not going to work. So it's the best way is to have this in our import. Alright, so for that what I'll simply do is, let me copy it up, and out here let's go to global.scss. Let me go out here, and after all this imports, I will have another import. This should be @import swipers / I'll simply pass css/bundle. If I try to pass scss/bundle, well, it's going to give me an error which I've already shown you in the previous videos. If you don't remember that, you can try it up and you can see the errors. Alright. Now once that is done, we are good to work with that. So I'll go to the home page, and in the home page within the Ion row, well, what I need to pass, let me show you that also. So this is how we use Swiperjs. Now let me simply copy it up and let me paste it out here directly. Now these are the properties or attributes of Swiperjs, or the swiper component, I would say. Now this is used for showing the number of slides that you want in one view. Alright, we will see right now. And these are all the properties. You can go to that particular documentation out here and read about all the configurations. Alright, if you just scroll down, it must be somewhere out here, or you can just learn about all of it. Alright, or the best way to learn is to hover on that. I'll show you up, no need to worry, but for the time being, let me remove all of it. I don't need any as of now, and I'll be using an ng4 to run our ng template, because this ng template is basically a wrapper. Well, this won't take any space or something, so it's pretty fine to work with. Now out here, this swiper is necessary to pass swiper slide, and within that we can pass our slide. So what do I need in my slides? I need an image where I'm going to pass the src, which will be dynamic. Now within that, I'll pass the value of the dynamic content. Now before that, I also need out here to work with the ng4 like I said. So let banner of banners. I know you must be thinking we have not created anything. I'll do it right now, don't worry. Now within that banners, I'll access it out here, and within that there will be a banner which I need to pass it directly out here, which will hold our image. Fine. The question mark is just given because if there is any error, it might still show us something without giving any error. Now let's go to our TypeScript. Alright, out here I forgot to close my img tag, which I just did. Alright. Now you can see that the images are coming up. How it is done, let me show you. So in the TypeScript, I have declared this banners array, which is an empty array at the initial point, right? Now when we are initializing the data at that point of time, I'm having few data in my banners array where I've declared this banner property, and within that I have passed this image. So where these images are coming from? Well, this is present in my assets folder. Now here in my assets folder, I have dishes folder, and within that lots of dishes are there which you can use. And all the images that are shown out here is taken from freepik.com. So it's a very good website. You just need to pass the attribute of that particular person who has built that up, and you can use it for free. So this is very good and you can use that up. Alright. Now once I do that, it is showing up out here, but this is not looking nice. We have the images which is coming up, but not looking very good. So not very good, in fact not looking at all good. So we need to design that up a little bit. So what I will do now, for designing that up, I'll go to the HTML part, and out here in the swiper, I will first pass config out here, which is a property of swiper where we can pass the configuration, all the configuration for the swiper, alright, or for the banners I would say, and which will be equals to, let me call it banner config, which I'll declare, and then in fact I'll have a class also called banners with which we are going to work in our SCSS. Okay, the spelling should be banner config. Now it's fine. Let's go to our TypeScript and declare that up. So I'll have out here banner config of type swiper options. Now how to import this up? Well, let me show you. Now out here, in order to use swiper options, we have to use it up. So I'll simply copy it up, which is present somewhere out here in the users part. You can check that out. So out here we are passing the config in a similar manner, and we are using that up. I'll pass it in the imports. Fine. Now in order to define that up, I'll be using an interface which I'll implement out here after content check. Because if I don't use that and I pass it on ng on in it, sometimes it will not work properly and we might face some problem with our banners. Alright. So it's better to pass after all the content is checked. That is why this interface is being used out here. So let's import it up. Now once that is done, what I'll do, I'll work in my ng after content check. This is the function that is available within that particular interface. Now within this, what I'll do, I will initialize my banner config to be equals to an object where I'm going to pass few properties. The first one will be slides per view. I want 1.2 slides per view, not more than that. One full slide and 0.2 of the second slide. Then I want space between my two slides, which will be, let's say 50. Let's see how much it is. Then in fact, I'll center my slides. So few properties I'm applying, then we will see the output. So as you can see, suggestion is also coming up. So I want center slides, and within that, I can simply pass true out here. And if you want autoplay, then what you can do, let me search for autoplay. As you can see, suggestion is coming up. If I click on it, and within that, if you just hover out here, you can see that it accepts delay, and out here the time in milliseconds. Alright, so that's what we need to pass out here. So I'll pass delay of, let's say, 3 seconds. Within every 3 seconds it will get changed. The banner will get changed automatically. Alright, so it will be 3 seconds in this particular manner. Now I think this much properties is enough for the time being. Let's check it out at first and then we will work with the other stuff. Now this autoplay will still not work. Let me show you, because there is one more thing that I want to tell you before we see the output. Now if I just scroll down, out here you can see these are all the swiper modules which is being used, and for using every swiper module we have to do some tasks. What is that? We need to use this swiper core, and within that we need to pass the module which we are using. So let me just go to my code, scroll to the top. It will not give you error, but it's not going to work. So that is why we need to do this up. Now navigation I'm not using, pagination as of now I'm not using, so let me remove all of it, and in here I'm simply going to pass auto play. Fine. As you can, suggestion is coming up. You just hover on it again. Okay, it's gone. Let me type it directly out here, because if I don't import it up, it's not going to work. So as you can see, it's done. Fine. Now let's check the output. Alright, this is showing up, and as you can see, autoplay is also working properly. Now what is left out here? Well, we cannot see more than one slide out here. So what I'll do is, at first I'll remove this space between, and then after center slides, I'll pass initial slide property to be 1. And why 1? Well, initial slide starts from 0. Alright, 0 means the first slide, and if I pass out here 1, that means it will start from the second slide. So I want the first slide to be at the left side little bit, and the third slide to be on the right side a bit. You will see just now. Alright, if you are getting confused. And the second slide will be at the bottom. That's gonna look pretty nice. So now you can see the slides are coming up, right? But this is the one which I need, but we need the spacing now. I think without spacing it's not looking good. So space between, let me pass 50. And let's design a bit more so that it will look pretty nice. And for that, I'll go to the SCSS. Meanwhile, the rendering is being done. Now, after the ion header, well, I'm going to work with the ion content, within which we are going to work with the banners class, which we have declared in our Swiperjs component, right? Remember? So within the banners, I'll pass a height of 25 VH, which will be the maximum height for this banners. And then I'm going to work with the image tag within that, where I'm going to pass width to be 100%, and I'll have a height of, let's say, 22 VH will be fine. Also a border radius of say 5 pixel will look pretty good. And let's apply some box shadow also. That's gonna give a 3D look to that. So -1 pixel, 11 pixel, 13 pixel, -6 pixels. Let me give RGB color 7,6,86. Alright, I think this color will look nice. So this is the designing that I have done out here. Let's check it out how it looks like. Alright, now you can see the design is showing up, but the spacing is a bit more. So what I'll do, I'll go to the TypeScript, and out here I'll change this space between to 10. I think that will be better. Now it is looking better, right? Everything is working, the autoplay is working, the spacing is good. Now we need some margin at the top. So what I'll do, in my SCSS out here, I'll pass some margin top of, let's say, 10 pixel will be much better. Don't want a lot more. Now it is looking better. Now if you want to pass some pagination also, then what I'm going to do out here, well, out here I'll have pagination. Now within this pagination, now in the pagination I'm simply going to pass an object clickable to true, which will make it true, and we can use it up. But well, we need to do one more thing. Well, this is also a module. You can check it on the documentation. So out here, after the autoplay, I need to pass pagination in this particular manner. Alright, you can see this is coming up, the pagination. It is showing up, but well, what I'll do is, in my SCSS, I'll reduce the height of my image to be 20 VH so that we can see it properly, right? I think now this is looking much better. And you can change the bullet color also if you want. Now for that, for changing the bullet color, let me show you. Just scroll down. Out here, if you just hover out here, you see that this is the class that is being used. So what I'll do, I'll simply copy this class, and let's go to our global.scss, because that's where it's going to get implemented. So out here, I'll simply work on this class. Well, out here, if I just want to work with the pagination, Let's say like I want to give some margin or align it properly, then we can work that out. But if I want to change the bullet color, then I have to use a different class for that, which will be swiper pagination dash bullet, this class, and where we can simply pass the background color to be, well, I have passed out here the medium color, which will look nice according to me. You can change that up as per your requirement. Alright. So as you can see, this is coming up and everything is looking as good as earlier. You can even pass some effects also if you want. Let me just search out here the effects that you can pass. So effect, these are the effects that you can pass out here. Let's try with the cover flow effect. So in order to use that up, let's see what do we need to do. So out here it is already shown how we can use that up. So let me just try it out. Cover flow, right? That's what I need to use. So out here, let's go to home page, TypeScript, and let me scroll to the top. Out here, I'll use effect, then I'll paste this cover flow, and same I'll import it out here in this particular manner. I can see the error is gone, right? Now what I'll do, out here, if I just want to use that up, I'll simply pass effect colon out here cover flow. I think C will be small. That's what we need to work with. Alright, so this is the cover flow design. If you want this design, then you can have that up. One by one it is showing up. But I don't want that design, so I'll simply remove it. And other designs also are there, effects are there, which you can use that up if you want to. And if you want to know more about it, I think you have some documentation where you can see everything. I just forgot, you have to just search somewhere, maybe out here. Let me open it up. So now you can see this is the effect cube. You can have this navigation also if you want out there. So this is the, I think, cube one. This one is the fade one, and cover flow is this one, not yet loaded. Okay, this is the one, cover one. You can have this up. Then this is the flip one, cards one. This is good actually. So you can just check all of it, and whichever you like, you want to implement, you can have that up in your application. I don't want to implement any of those right now. So what I'll do, I'll simply remove all of it from my code. Let me go out here and I'll simply remove it. I don't need any. And I'll remove it from here also, the imports and everywhere. I don't want to use it right now. I'm happy with that design which we had earlier, right? So our Swiperjs work is done. Now we need to work with the categories and showing the restaurant list, right? So let's work with that. So I'll go to the HTML part, or let's me do one thing. I'll first declare everything. So in my TypeScript, what I'll do, I will have few more arrays. One will be for the category, then the other one for the favorite foods, or favorite restaurants, I would say. Then the top offer restaurants, whichever it's giving, so that we will have. And I think the last one will be showing all the lists, so we can say like nearby restaurants or something like that. So nearby array, let me have that also out here. Fine. Now I need to declare this up in my ng on init. Now out here after the banner, I'll simply have the favorite one. This is the array consisting of lot of objects. I have passed out here. You can copy it from my source code, which I have already shared in the description. The link is there. You can have that up. All right. And out here we have a lot of things, reading and all lot of stuff. Let me do one thing. I'll simply copy it up, or let me minimize it up in this particular manner to make it short. I'll copy it up, paste it once again for my offers and nearby ones. So I'll paste it 2 more times basically. Now what I'll do, alright, so the second name is gonna be offers, third one will be the nearby. Fine. Now in the offers one, I'll twist it a bit. What I'll do is, let me make it ID 3, and the third one I'll make it 1, and what I'll do is I'll cut this up from here and paste it at the top just to have different view, otherwise everything it's gonna be same, right? And I'll cut this up and paste it out here direct. Fine. Other things are pretty same, not a big issue. So that is done. Now offers is done, nearby is also done. Now I need to pass the category also, so at the very top, because that will appear at the top. So out here I'll simply have this categories where you have the name, image, the ID, and what else? Nothing else. That's fine. Alright, so this is also done. Now we simply need to design it up. Now for the categories also, I will be using the Swiperjs for that. So what I'll do, I'll create another row, and out here I'll simply paste it. So out here I'll not have any class, and this will appear if you only have if categories dot length greater than 0. Fine. Now I'll have few other classes instead of this one. I'll pass some classes such as Ion Text Center, and I will have a category class because this is a category, so we are working with the category, right? Which I will work with in the SCS. Well, the video is getting longer, so you can just take a break for some time and then you can come back again. Pause the video and you can come back again. Alright, if you want. Now out here, instead of banners, I'll have category of categories, and instead of this image I'll simply have a div, and I'll align everything within the div to be at the center. Now within the div, at first I'll have an ion avatar. The slot will be start, and within that I will have the image where the value of the src will be dynamic, which will be category dot image. And once the div is done, what I need to do, I will also have an ion label where I'll pass the name. Don't worry, you will see the output in a second. Category dot name, and I will wrap the name, because if the name is longer it might not show up properly, right? That is why ion text wrap. Now let's check the output, how it looks like. So now you can see this is the design which is showing up. Not looking that bad, but we need to work with that a bit more so that we can achieve the proper design, right? So for that, I'll go to the SCSS, and out here after the banners, I'll work with the ion row, which has the class category, where I'll define the height to be 10 VH, and I'll pass some margin to it. Let's say top 2 VH, left 0, bottom 5 VH, then 0 on the right side. Ion avatar also, let me pass the height and width of 8 VH, I think will be better because I want it to be smaller. So I've tested with 8 VH, it looks good. Let's check that out. Alright, I don't see any change as of now out here. Well, we are accessing the ion row class category. Let me see out here. Well, there is no class out here. Where did I pass it? Okay, mistakenly I passed it onto the swiper component. So let me just cut it from here and I'll paste it out here. Fine. Now let's check it out. Now you can see it is getting impacted, right? If you want it more smaller, you can have that up. But I think this is fine. Now let me work with the ion label. So for the ion label, I'll pass font size to be 0.65 rem. Pretty smaller I want. And I want the font weight to be normal, because somewhere or the other I'll pass bold. So I just want it to be normal all the time. And I'll make it important also so that it doesn't get impacted by anything. Okay, now you can see the design is showing nicely. Now the only thing that is left is to work with the configuration of our Swiperjs. So out here I'll simply pass category config instead of the banner config, and let me declare it out here in my TypeScript. So let me simply copy it up, paste it out here and change this to category config. Alright, and where have I declared this one? I will simply use the slides per view in this particular case, so I'll just have that. Fine. In this particular manners, number of slides will be 3.5 in this case, and category, let me change category config. Fine. Now it is better. Now one more thing I want to tell you, even you can pass a check out here for the initial slide also, that if your banner, let's say banner, let me do it out here. I think that will be better. This dot banners dot dot length, if it is greater than 1, then the initial slide will be 1. Fine. Otherwise, okay, it should be question mark. If it is true, then 1. Otherwise, it's gonna be 0. You can have that up. Similarly, in this case, well, if it is greater than 3, then you can have 3.5 slides. Alright, you can play around with that as per the requirement. So I'll keep it as it is for the time being. Okay, the spelling out here is wrong. That is why I'm getting the error. Now it is fine. So now you can see out here in the output, well, we have all the categories that we have created, and it is showing nicely out here. 1, 2, 3.5 slides. That's great. Awesome, I would say. So now we need to work with the restaurant designs and show it category wise. Alright. So for that, what I'll do, in the HTML, I'm going to have out here an ion row. And in fact, one more thing, this condition also, I need to pass it at the top out here, because I don't want the row to exist if there is no category, right? Similarly, out here also, I'll have a condition. First of all, we'll have the favorites one. So favorites, restaurants, I'm going to pass it first. And within this particular row, I'm going to have a column. So ion column of size 8. Maximum of 12 size, you know that. Now within this, I'm going to have ion label, to which I'll pass a class ion margin start, and also heading, which I will work with, because this will be our heading for that particular category of restaurants. Now within this ion label, I'll simply type your favorites, your favorite restaurants basically. Alright, once that is done, on the next iron column which will be of size 4 obviously. I will have an iron button, fill will be clear, color will be medium, and the size will be small. Now this button is for view all. Alright. Now I'll also have an iron icon within that after the view all, whose color will be primary and the name will be chevron forward circle outline. Big of a name, but it's gonna look nice. And the slot will be end. After the text it's going to show up. If you give it start, it will show before the text. Alright, so once that is done, let's see the design of it at first. Now you can see the design is showing up, but we need to work around it a bit more. So what I'll do, let me go to the SCSS of home page, and out here after this I will have another iron row because we are going to work with the iron row. So within the iron row, at first I will make all my iron label to have fonts weight to be bold. Alright, then again I'm going to work with the iron label where I have passed the heading class, and there I will pass font size to be 1 rem. Now after that is done, what I'll do is I'll work with the iron column also. So within the iron column, what I'll do, I'll pass align self to center. Alright, so align all these things at the center. Let's check it out. So now you see the design is looking pretty good. Alright, and we are good to work with that. So now what I'll do, I'll go to the HTML again, and out here after this iron column, I will have this Swiperjs. So let me just copy it from here for the time being and paste it out here. Now in here I'll simply have favorite config instead of the banner config or the other one. What was that? Category config, yeah. And out here it will be favorite of favorites. That's gonna be the name of it. Then this whole thing will change out here, and instead of that I'll have an iron card, and within that card I'm going to design my restaurant list. And for that it's better to work with the component because I'll be using it 2-3 times and I don't want to repeat the whole code again and again. So it's going to be a pretty bunch of codes. So it's better to have some other thing for that. So for that, I will create a component. But before that, let me just declare this thing up. So I'll go to the TypeScript. And in fact, what I'll do is let me copy both of this, paste it out here, favorite config. Then I'll have offer config. Then the last one will be a nearby config. All right. All of them are created, so we won't get any further errors because of. Now for nearby, we don't need any config because that won't be in a Swiperjs, so I will remove it up. And for offer config and favorite config, well, the configuration will be same. So instead of this one, I'll give restaurant config. Alright, that will be better. And let me first declare this up out here. So I'll have this dot paste it, which will be equals to, and out here I'm simply going to pass slides per view, which will be 1.1 slides I need per view in this case. Fine. And out here I'll simply have the same thing, restaurant config. That's better. Now so at first we will create a module before creating a component because we will be using it in many places if needed. So that is why let's create a module. So for that, command is Ionic G module, then the module name which I have given it as components, and let me hit enter. Okay, the module is created. Now let's create the component, and for that I'll use Ionic G component. Within the components folder I'll create and name it as restaurant. Alright, hit enter. So now you can see the component is created. Now what we need to do in order to show it out here, at first we need to go to our components, then components.module.ts. Out here, let me create a constant called components, which I have shown you earlier also. This will be an array where I'm going to pass the restaurant component or all the components that I'm going to use. This must be the name. So let's import it up, and it is imported now. So why I have done that? So that I can directly use it out here. In the export, I'll have it out here. I can simply pass component. Alright. Even you can pass directly also out here, but to save some time, I've done that up. This is just one. That is why there is hardly any impact. But alright, if you want to use this up, you have to export it. Fine. Now it's gonna work. Alright. So why I'm doing that? Like I said, if I want to use it somewhere else also, I can use it directly. Say out here I have entry components or something else, I can directly use it up. If you don't want that, you can simply pass this directly out here. That's not going to create a problem, and you can simply remove all of it. That's it. Easy, right? Now once that is exported, I can simply use this component in my pages of home page, I'll go out there, and in the module I'll simply have this components module and will import it up in this particular manner. Fine. Once that is done, I can directly use it out here, app restaurant in this way. Alright, and I will pass out there the restaurant data, right? So I'll have a restaurant input property out there which is not declared yet, but I'll do that up, and I'll pass favorite out there. So we will have this input property out there in our component, and I have passed this restaurant data directly out there. Alright, so let's work with our component, but before that, what is the error? These are nothing but the caching errors or rendering errors mostly. Fine, that will go away in some time, don't need to worry. If it doesn't go away, then you need to run your Ionic Serve again, or you can close this up and run it again. Alright, so I was getting the error because I didn't pass components into the declarations, so I have to pass it out there also. I missed that out, so you please correct that up. If you pass it out here, then it's gonna be easy. That is why I just created this constant, because if we have to pass it in too many places, then we can use it up. That is what is done out here, and now all the errors are gone. We can simply use this up. Now you can see this is also coming up, right? Now we need to design this up and everything goes pretty smoothly. Now in order to work with the Ionic tags or Ionic components, I need to import out here Ionic module in this particular manner and import it up. Once the importing is done, we're good to use it in our component. So now let's work with the component. So I'll have a div at first because we want to show the image at first. So within the div, I will have an image where the source will be equals to, well, this will be a dynamic one. So I'll just pass it dynamically in this particular manner. Input attribute where I'm going to pass item.cover. Well, this item will be our input property, or actually it will be restaurant because we have given restaurant out there, right? So restaurant, and out here, let me go to the component.ts file, and out here I need to use the decorator input in this manner, and we need to import it up also, but let me just pass restaurant at first. Alright, in this particular manner, I'll simply type out here input. Okay, so in this particular manner we can use that up. Now whatever value we are passing out there will come in here, and it will be seen in ng only, not in the constructor, remember that. Now from the designing perspective, what I'll do, after the div, I'll have an ion item where lines will be none, and within that we are going to work, but let's see first whether the image comes up or not. Alright, so now you can see the image is coming up, but we have something text at the top. Okay, I need to remove this up, this p tag, not needed. Alright, now we need to work with this design also. So let me go to the SCSS of this component, and out here I'll work with this div. Within that I'll work with the image tag, and I'll pass height to be 22 VH and width to be the 100%. Alright, so that it will look smaller. Now the image size is smaller, it's good, and we can work around with that. So in the ion item now, I will have an ion label at first, where the class I'll apply ion text wrap, and within that I'll have an ion text where I will do everything within the strong tag to pass font weight to be bold. We can pass directly using this particular tag, and out here I'm going to pass restaurant dot name. Now you can see this name is showing up. Now out here I'll next pass the cuisines in the next paragraph. For that, after this ion text, I will have a p tag within which I'll have another ion text whose color will be medium, and within that I will pass the cuisines. So get cuisines will be my functions to get the cuisines, because that will be an array, so we need to break it down and pass it as a string with commas. So get cuisines will be my function. Now out there I'm going to pass restaurant dot cuisines, and you can check the array in the array which I have already shared in the home page TypeScript, right? You can check that out. Now let's work with this function in my TypeScript out here. I'll simply pass the data, return data dot join, and how it's going to join the array by comma and then a space. That's what I need. Let's check it out. And there we go. You can see the cuisines is coming up, right? Which is looking nice. Now the next thing, what we need, well, we need to pass the stars and all other stuff. Let me show you. So I'll have an iron row out here right now, and I'll center everything out there to avoid any issue. So iron text center, I'll pass it out here, and within this iron row I will have an iron column of size tree at first, in which I'm going to have an ion text where I'm going to pass it delivery time. So restaurant dot delivery time, which is the property already available out there, which will be in minutes. So MINS short form. Alright, and the next column will be an column of size 2, and I'll pass a class of rating out there because this belongs to rating. So I'll work with the ion text and this rating will work with it, not to worry about it. So in the ion text, I'm going to pass the rating of the restaurant. So restaurant question mark dot rating, and after that I'll also pass a star icon. So icon name will be star, color will be dark, and that's it. Now the last column that I'm going to have, and column of size 4. What am I going to have out here? And text, where I will pass the rupee symbol, which I'll get it from the browser. You can pass the dollar symbol if you want, or any other currency symbol which you are looking for. Alright, I'll simply copy it up, paste it out here. Then restaurant dot price, I'll pass it out here. This will be for 2 people. Alright, or 2 persons. Fine, I think this is done. Rest of the column will be empty. Not a problem for us. This is looking nice. This is okay, I suppose, and we need to work with the design first. Let's check it out how it looks like. Alright, there is one thing that is wrong. Double equal is given. Let me just remove this up. Let's check it again. Okay, let me scroll down and you can see the design is showing up, right? But we need to align it properly. It's not looking that nice. So what I'll do, I'll go to the SCSS out here, and after the div, I'm going to work with the ion item, where I'll start with ion label. Now to my ion label, I'll give it a font size of 0.95 because I want this ion label to be bigger. Alright, the text, the title one. Okay, and after that I'll work with the p tag, where on the ion text I'm going to pass font size to be 0.85 rem, and then I'm going to work with the ion row, where at first we can pass some margin, right, at the top and bottom if needed. We'll check that later on, but let me first work with the ion column, where I'll pass a background color of background to be where dash dash ion color light. Okay, we'll give some background to our ion column, and then work with the ion text out there, where I'll pass the font size to be 0.8 rem and font weight to be 400. I think that will be better. So the size is reduced. Let's try all this stuff and check it out whether that works or not. Alright, rendering is done. Let's check it out. Now you can see this is looking nice, and at the background you can see little light color, right? If you cannot see it in my case, my design, check it in yours, it will show up. Alright, so this is also done. Now we need little margin between all of this. So what I'll do, in my ion row, I will have margin to be 5 pixel and 0 on the top and bottom 5 pixels. I think that will be good. And also I need margin between these two also. So what I'll do, I have declared that rating, that is why. So for the rating, what I'll do, ion column, I'll pass margin to be 0 and 5 pixels. On the left and right side, I'll give 5 pixels. Then for the ion icon, I'll pass some margin left because I need some spacing out there also to be 2 pixel will be good. And let's see whether it is aligned properly or not. Then we will change it later. Alright, rendering is done again. Let me check it out. Now it is looking better. Spacing is more and looking awesome. Only thing that is left is this star one. I want to transform it in Y direction a bit. So translate in Y direction by 10% will be better, I think. So this is working as expected, looking pretty nice. Now I need to change few images. I think this images I have already used it in my course. So let me change it a bit. What I'll do, let me go to home page, and out here, instead of this 1.jpg in my favorites array, what I'll do, I'll pass restaurant.jpg, which is a good image according to me. So instead of doing this directly, what I'll do, I'll simply replace this 1.jpg everywhere by restaurant.jpg, which will look pretty nice. And meanwhile that is being done, in fact I'll reduce some spacing and also reduce little bit the size of this a bit more. And for that I'll go to the SCSS of home page and let's move to the top. Alright, in the ion content I'll change it to 22 and this will be 19, 17. 3 less. Fine, that is done. And in fact my category also I'll change it to 6VH and 6 VH, the size of the image of the avatar. Alright, now you can see we have little more spacing, isn't it? And this is the image which I have changed, which is looking nice out here, isn't it? So in fact, what I'll do is I will simply have margin bottom of the category not to be 5 VH, 2 VH I think will be fine. So I'll simply remove it and pass 0. Top and bottom 2 VH, and on the left and right 0. That's gonna be perfect, I suppose. Let's check it out. Alright, now you can see it is having more space out here also. Alright, and this is looking nice according to me. I'm happy with the design. Also, if you want to just reduce the size of this one, you can do that up. Instead of 22, I think 20 will be better. So let me just try it out. I'm not pretty much sure about it, but let's give it a shot. So out here, let me pass 20. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, still it is not looking that bad, but looking little congested, or so I think 22 was much better because I want the images to look pretty nice. Right, so I think 22 will be better instead of 20. Alright, so I'm happy with this 22 one. That's much better to look in. Alright, so that's properly up to you how you want. I'm okay with 22. Well, this is looking little bigger, but in bigger screens it's gonna look pretty nice. Alright, now let's have some other thing out here. So what I'll do, I'll go to the home page HTML and I'll simply copy this iron row once again, paste it out here, change this to top offers. Alright, and this one will be offers, and other things will remain the same, except out here I will have offers, offer, and here also I'm going to pass offer. Alright, that's the only change that I need to pass out here. Everything will be the same there. Now the rendering is done. Let's check it out. So I'll just scroll down, and this is the top offers. So this is also coming up, which is looking awesome out here, right? That's great. If you click on view all, you can have some other pages, and there you can show all the things. Now the last thing that I want to do out here is basically, after this I will have an iron list. Now within that iron list, what I'll do, I will have this iron row at first where I can define this particular. I'll simply copy this up, and in the iron list I'll simply paste it. Once pasted, I'll change this to nearby restaurants. Alright, you can view all, you can click on that and work with that if you like to. Everything gonna be same heading, that's fine, and this is also fine. After that, I'll simply have the app restaurant. Alright, and I will loop it up for let item of nearby. What was the name of the array? Let me check it out. Nearby, only nearby. So I'll just type out here nearby, and that is it. After that, I'm simply going to pass out here restaurant, which will be equals to item. Alright, and if I don't want to pass it out there, the ng4, I have one more way. I can even use an item group for that. Alright, and pass this ng4 out here and move this app restaurant component within that. Let's check it out how it looks like. Alright, the rendering is done. Let's check it out. So I'll just scroll down. This is nice, but this is not looking good. And out here, no, there is no space out here. I want a little bit of space, so that's gonna look better. For having that, what I'll do is, let me do one thing. I'll pass all of this within the iron row in this particular manner. Let's check it out how it looks like now. Okay, this needs to be upward. Now it's better. Now you can see it is showing up nicely, right? Now if I want to remove the background of this iron list, well, this is giving the white background. If I don't want that, simply what I'll do, I'll go to the SCSS, and out here at the bottom I will work with this. Okay, this is iron content. So iron list and background, I'll pass it as transparent. That's it. I think it's gonna work. Alright, now if you just give it a close look, you won't see there is a difference between the color at the background and this one. So it is getting transparent, and out here also you can see a border line, right? Well, this border line is not looking that good. I don't want that border to show up, but at first let me do few more thing out here. But out here iron item group, with that what I'll do is I'll pass some margin bottom to be, let's say 5 VH will be better, and it's gonna look nice, right? Because between two items I want some margin, right? Alright, now you can see some spacing, but it is looking a bit more. I can reduce it up to, I think, 2 to 3 VH. I think that will be better. Otherwise, that is too much of a space. I don't want that much of a space out here. So let me just reduce it up. And other things are okay, I think. Most probably. This is, I think, the image only. So I don't need to work with that most probably. Give it 2 VH. Alright, now it is looking better. I think there is a space is fine, little bit, which can be detectable, and there is some space between the two items. Well, that is fine for me, and there is no extra gapping out here. Well, that is coming from the image. So I'm happy with this design. I think I don't need to do anything else out here. This is looking nice, and you can have the distance also out here if you want. Below this you can have the distance. Let's check it out whether I have given it in the array or not. So I'll just search for distance. We have that actually. So let me just try it out here. After this ion row, I will have a p tag again. Within that, I'll have an ion text where I'm going to pass restaurant dot distance, which will be in kilometers. So kms, I'll write away. Fine. I think that's gonna be good. And for the p tag, we have already given the design, so it will take the same design. Now the color out here, we can change it to red one. This time the red one will work, or you can give the dark one also if you want. It should be little visible. That is why I'll just give the primary color out here. You can give the danger color also if you want. And if you are changing the primary color, make sure you pass some red color out here. Alright, now you can see the distance is coming up out here, but it is not looking that good. So we can design it up a bit more. And I don't want to show it everywhere, so I have to do something out there. Well, let's work with this at first. Now I'll pass a class out here, which I'll name it as distance, and also I'll pass a condition out here. It will only show if there is a restaurant which has a distance. Alright, now let's work with this distance out here. Let me work with that. So ion text dot distance, and I'll pass the font size to be 0.8 rem will be better, and I can make it bold also. So font weight to be bold, which will look nice. Meanwhile that is getting rendered up, I'll also pass a condition in my home page HTML to my ion list actually. So in the ion list, I'll simply pass this condition. I will copy it from the offers one and pass it in the ion list out here. Change this to nearby. Alright, let's check it out. So this is coming up. Well, looking okay, I would say. We can design a bit more also out here, but I'll keep it as it is, or in fact I'll do one thing. I've already shown you up, and if you want to remove it from here, like your favorites and all other stuff, you can simply remove it from the array list which I have declared out there and only give it for the nearby one. Fine. Now what I'll do, I'll simply comment this up. If you want, you can have that. Well, from the design perspective, it is not looking that nice as of now. You can play around with that if you want to. Alright. So with this, our design is completely ready. As you can see out here, it is looking pretty nice, and we can check it in other devices also. Let's check it out in, let's say, Nexus 6. I think this is bigger, or some other phone, 7. Let's check it in 5X. Okay, let's check it in Nexus 6P, and out here what I will do is I will remove the frame, hide it, and reload it up because I want it to be bigger one. With the frame size, it will come smaller. Alright, now you can see this is coming as bigger one, right? And in the bigger device, it's gonna look pretty nice. In the smaller one also, it's gonna look very nice. But with the things that we have done out here, that's gonna eat up a little bit of space, right? That's the only thing that matters. So I think this is looking very nice according to me, and you're good to go with this particular home screen. Alright, now I changed few things out here. Well, this image, I changed it to 3.jpg, otherwise it was not looking that nice earlier one. Well, the same design won't look that nice, right? And out here, as you can see, in my image, within the banners, I have changed the height to be 18 VH. Well, otherwise this will look a little congested, and you have to have the same image size. Otherwise, it's not going to look that nice. That is why I have just expanded it a bit more. Even if you can go to height to be 20 VH, I think that will be much better. But you need to have the alignment for the pagination also. You can remove the pagination if you don't want, or you can increase the height of it. That's how you can play around with that. And in the in the TypeScript, I have changed this banner to 3.jpg instead of restaurant.jpg. That's the only change I have made out here, which is looking nice as of now, according to me, and we are good to go. So this is the whole design of our home screen. Well, we need to work with the popover also out here for our geolocation thing, which we'll work with in our next video. So I hope you like the video. If you really like this video, please hit the like button and do subscribe to the channel yet if you haven't done that, and do share with your friends. Let's grow our community a bit more. So with that being said, let's wrap this video out here. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you pretty soon.